Hey everyone, welcome back to Travel Guy. We usually take you on tours of beautiful places across the US, from national parks to underrated cities. But today, we're going in a completely different direction. Instead of looking at landscapes and landmarks, we're diving into something a little more controversial: the average IQ scores across different American states. Now, before we get into it, let's make one thing clear. IQ is not a complete measure of a person's worth, potential, or even their intelligence. It's simply a standardized way of measuring certain cognitive abilities. And a state's average IQ is influenced by a wide range of factors, including access to education, economic conditions, healthcare, and more. This isn't about shaming anyone. It's about looking at real data, understanding trends, and seeing what challenges some regions face when it comes to education and cognitive development. So with that said, let's explore the 10 US states with the lowest average IQ scores and some of the reasons why they landed there. 10. Alabama. Alabama starts off our list at number 10. Despite its rich history and cultural heritage, the state has struggled for years with underfunded school systems, especially in rural communities. Many areas in Alabama experience teacher shortages, low education budgets, and high poverty levels, all factors that can affect the learning environment and student outcomes. Standardized testing and national surveys have shown that the average IQ score in Alabama tends to fall slightly below the national average. However, the state has been working to improve its education system with increased investment in early childhood programs and higher teacher pay in some areas. 9. Mississippi. Mississippi often appears on national rankings at the bottom of education and economic performance lists. It has one of the highest poverty rates in the country and consistently struggles with low high school graduation rates and limited access to quality education. The average IQ in Mississippi is lower than the US average, and that's no surprise, given that many families live in areas where schools are under-resourced and communities lack access to libraries, internet access, and other educational tools. However, the state has been making efforts in recent years to increase reading proficiency and raise performance standards, but change takes time. 8. Louisiana. Louisiana faces a combination of challenges that impact average IQ scores. Many of its school districts, particularly in rural or low-income urban areas, suffer from high student-to-teacher ratios, aging infrastructure, and low per-pupil funding. Educational outcomes are also affected by environmental instability. Frequent hurricanes and flooding often interrupt school schedules and force families to relocate. Despite these issues, Louisiana has some bright spots, such as magnet schools and charter systems that perform well. But on a statewide level, the average IQ still reflects broader socioeconomic and educational challenges. 7. Nevada. When people think of Nevada, they think of Las Vegas: lights, tourism, casinos. But beyond the glamour, the state's education system has some deep-rooted issues. Nevada consistently ranks low in national education reports, with high dropout rates and low reading and math proficiency scores. The transient population, with families often moving in and out for jobs, can also disrupt consistent education for children. The average IQ in Nevada reflects these struggles. However, the state is working hard to improve, especially in the areas of early education and digital access in rural communities. 6. Kentucky. Kentucky's place on this list is tied closely to its large number of rural counties, where access to quality schools, healthcare, and resources is limited. Many families live in economically disadvantaged areas, and studies show that income and parental education levels are directly linked to children's IQ and academic performance. That said, Kentucky has made real progress in some areas, particularly with career training programs and early childhood initiatives. But overall, the average IQ still trails behind the national curve. Arkansas. Arkansas has long faced issues with educational funding disparities between urban and rural areas. Many students attend schools that lack updated textbooks, technology, and even basic facilities. The state also struggles with low college attendance rates, which has a long-term effect on the intellectual capital of the region. IQ, while not entirely dependent on formal education, is certainly shaped by it. On a brighter note, Arkansas has begun expanding broadband access and focusing more on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math education, efforts that could help raise the bar over time. 4. South Carolina. South Carolina continues to face systemic problems in its public education system, especially in its rural counties. Teacher shortages are common, and turnover is high due to low pay and difficult work environments. These challenges impact not just test scores, but also critical thinking development and cognitive growth, all of which influence IQ over time. That said, there's significant momentum in the state to reverse this trend. Some districts are trying new teaching methods, expanding pre-K programs, and attracting talent with new incentives. But for now, the state's average IQ score remains among the lowest. 3. West Virginia. West Virginia is a state rich in natural beauty, but also one of the hardest hit by the decline of coal and related industries. The resulting economic hardship has affected families for generations, impacting nutrition, mental health, and educational opportunity. These long-term effects are reflected in IQ scores, which remain below the national average. Many rural areas lack access to specialized educators, learning centers, or even consistent internet. However, the state has begun embracing online education, adult learning programs, and workforce retraining efforts, which may help change things in the long run. 2. New Mexico. New Mexico is one of the most culturally diverse states in the country, but unfortunately, that diversity often comes with challenges for the education system. There are multiple language barriers, especially in Native American and Hispanic communities, which can make standardized education and testing more complicated. New Mexico also ranks low in child well-being, with many families living in poverty. These conditions negatively influence access to high-quality early education, and as a result, the average IQ remains low. But initiatives focused on bilingual education, community learning centers, and teacher development are gaining traction. 1. Hawaii. It may surprise many, but Hawaii ranks at the bottom when it comes to average IQ among U.S. states. While it's a tropical paradise in many respects, its unique geography poses real challenges to its education system. Many schools are spread across islands, making consistent oversight and equal resource distribution difficult. There's also a chronic teacher shortage, driven by Hawaii's high cost of living and lower than average teacher pay. Despite high literacy rates and a generally educated population, factors like limited access to higher education in more isolated areas and a less competitive academic environment overall contribute to Hawaii's ranking. Still, the state has made strides in integrating Hawaiian culture into education and pushing for educational reform. So there you have it, the 10 American states with the lowest average IQ scores, based on data from educational studies and standardized testing. But remember, IQ isn't destiny. It's a small part of a much bigger picture. These states are full of incredible people with unique skills, talents, and creativity that can't be measured by any single test. Many of these states are working hard to improve education, reduce poverty, and invest in their young people. And that's something we should all be paying attention to. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about the fascinating, complex stories behind each place in the US, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next trip with Travel Guy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the road.